today on Nebraska WoodSTR, it's party time. The family farm we grew up on is 125 years old this year, so about 3 or 4 generations, and so got a bunch of people coming in tonight, so try and bring that to you here. So here we go. All right, good morning, WoodSTRs. My name is Mike. If you're here for the first time, welcome. If you're joining me back, thank you for your support. So, all right, like I said, today in 1897, this was homesteaded, and we growing a lot of kids and families on the farm. My brother still farms here, and so today we're celebrating our Q125. We got 300, 400, 500 people going to show up here. So a lot of stories on this old farm, and yeah, so looking forward to it. So lots of family running around. Say hi. Say hi. Hi. And it's just beginning. I think we're going to eat around 5 o'clock. So family's going to start showing up around 3. So I'll kind of give you a kind of a bird's eye view here and a view of everything here before we get started. So get in here out of the sun so you can kind of look at how many people we're expecting today. Looks like a pile. Got parking, we got lights, we got down here and I'll bring you down and show you a little bit here. Kind of walk around and show you a couple of the first tractors in the county that my grandpa would have bought. So I don't know the stories real well, but I'm sure I'll hear them all today and get all the true facts. So, but this is where me and my 4 other brothers and sister were raised. Lots of hogs, some cattle, and farming, and yeah, very cool. Kind of a cool portion of this here. If you look back there in the corner, that is the church, and I'll show you that. It's a kind of a staple of the community. Let me see if I can. So anyway, that's where we went to church every Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. All right, flip it around so I can show it to you. All right, well, not a big shocker, but I'm in charge of making sure all the beer and the alcohol's ready for the group. So that's not a huge shocker for you guys that have been following me. So anyway, the old house. So this is the shop. There's the house. The old house used to sit right here by this tree, and that's what we grew up in. So anyway, we'll kind of bring it to you as we go throughout the day. All right, stick with me. Here we go. All right, thought I'd just take a little bit of time here, kind of go back through some memories of when we were back here growing up and some of the stuff we used to do every morning. Like I said, there's about 160 head of sows on this farm, and we farrowed them out in 2 sheds. So I'm going to give you a kind of a quick little rundown of my memories of these 2 sheds. So looks quite a bit different, but all right, here we go. All right, you're going to have to use your imagination a little bit in here, but so on this end of the shed here, this is where we had the sows that came in after we'd let them out every morning, and their piglets. They'd come in here, and we'd have a big chalk, and we'd write a number on them. And so like on this one here, number 13 would come running in, and there was a hallway that was about, probably only about 36 inches wide. So the sows couldn't turn around, but when they come blowing through there, because we fed them in the crates, you had one opportunity to get them in there. Otherwise, you had yourself a handful. So one of my brothers or my sister would stand at the door and yell, "Number 13," and here they come. So this is the hallway that they came in on. A little bit of a swing door right there. This crap out of the way. We just hook this up right there, and all those sows would come blowing in here, and you were on the other end grabbing them and putting them into the crates. So we called this the new hog barn. I'm not sure what year it was built. On this end, we had our nursery, and there was nursery decks sitting on both sides, here and here. Every other day or every day, we have to get in there with a garden hose and blow all the crap down into the drain, and it went outside from there. But this is also where a lot of fond memories of castrating hogs. We used to do that when they were about 30 pounds. Felt like 100 pounds. We'd hold them and Dad would castrate them. We'd also give them a shot of Ivomec. So between me and all of my brothers, I don't think any of us got COVID, but I think it's probably for all the years of getting shot with ivermectin when we were holding the, I'll kind of show you. We'd hold the pigs like this, and they'd be shaking like crazy. And yeah, then if we didn't hold them still enough, Dad would stick us with the Ivomec, and probably saved all of our lives. So, all right, that's the new hog shed. There we go. All right, we're now moving on to what we called the old hog shed. New hog shed had 14 crates. The old hog shed, if you will, just an old barn, had 16 crates in it. This one had quite a bit wider alleyway, and so we had a lot of opportunity to, if the sows came running in, you could get them turned around and run into their crate. So program was, when we grew up, from as young as we can remember, is every morning you got up, I don't know, 5:30, 6 o'clock usually, and we came out and did chores. And so part of the chore system was coming in here. Every one of these sows, there's no water in those crates. So as they had their piglets and stuff, every morning you had to let them out for water. So they'd come out onto this. Had a couple of different sets of pens there. They would get their water, and then you'd have to scrape out all of their crates, because we couldn't train a pig to not poop and pee where it lays. So some of them did a pretty good job. Most of them just let her fly. And so every morning and every night we had to clean them out, restraw them, and then send them back in. So for those that own a dairy farm, you know exactly what that is like. You just can't leave. So, all right, back here. Oh, I'll show you this. So when we first started, or my very first memories, whereas we just fed these sows out here, let them eat out here while we cleaned. As we got older, we was like, well, hell, we'll just feed them in the crates. Then we don't have to come push them into the sheds, because they'll come in for food. And then it turned into a rodeo every time, but we'd get them in there. So, but anyway, from the nursery that I was showing you in here, where we had to wash down all the time, we'd load up the pig cart right from this back door of this nursery. By the time they came out of here, they're about 50 pounds, just about enough to be a pain in the butt and too heavy, but you sometimes would have to carry virtually every single one of them out of there. We'd throw them on a pig cart, and then down where that slab is, that's where our finisher was, all open front finishers. And so we would just finish them out there, and then about, I don't know, 150 days later, they got sold to market. So right about there is where the chute was. And if you listen really closely, about 6:30 in the morning, you could probably still hear the cussing trying to push them dumb things up a chute. So a few memories I probably can't share what goes on in the hog business. So all in all, that's kind of a little bit of the tour of the hog operation as I remember it 20 some years ago. All right, up where the combine is, that used to be the old cattle yards. And let's see, right there, that's where where we used to hay the cows. We dry lot them through the winter, calve them out in the spring, and then they'd go to pasture after that. Back up there by the shop, that's where we'd finish out the cows all the time, and that's where we'd finish out the cows. So morning routine was our dad would always go and take care of the cows, and all of us kids would come down and take care of the hogs, and we had to keep moving because in about an hour we had to be showered, get ready for school. So it's one of those deals where everybody loves snow days, unless you're a farm kid that had hogs. You hated snow days because you were going to work your tail off the entire day. One of my fond memories from a child was this back door. It was a pretty good spot to hide if you happen to have too many cocktails and you needed to, because nobody really wanted to go into that nursery too bad, so everybody kind of avoided it and hoped someone else did it. So it's a good place to hide if you had too many cocktails and needed to take a little break. So still remember that. All right, right behind me here where the tractors are sitting, this pad of cement was 3 different pens of sows that were gestating, and so there'd be a 20 to 24 sows in each one of those pens, plus the boars that were doing the breeding, and hot wire fence that went back behind there into some hog huts. That's where everything kind of stayed until it was time to farrow them, and then we brought them right into the either the new hog shed or the old hog shed, and that's where all the gestating sows were. Everything outside, and you'd carry 2 to 4 5-gallon pails of ground feed to them every day, morning and night, and they didn't let you go on vacation much. So anyway, that's where we gestated them. All right, well, this here, all the cows and the mamas and babies would be up here. A couple of fond memories of cows blowing snot all over Dad, and we were supposed to have the tagger and the lastrator with us, and he would be yelling at us, and that cow's snotting all over us, and we're hiding on the other side of the fence, scared to death. But good heavy ass chewing, and you built up the courage to run over there and get him the tools he needed. This here's where the waterer was, so for all of those that are drinking only out of water bottles, I remember most of our kids, we'd just stick our head in that tank and drink. So here's where we kept the bulls when they weren't in breeding action. Sister Rachel, number 5 of the group. Hey Nathan. Yep. This is the youngest one. Turn around. Turn around. All right. That's the military man of the family. 12 years younger than this cat. So he is the youngest of the group. Say hi, Mama WoodSTR.
Hello.
All right, I'm gonna show you where we sweat our tails off. So every year, usually around July 4th, we would spend our time in this barn. I think Dad would find out and look at the weather forecast, and I don't know if he had to, but when it was gonna be over 100 degrees, we would bring in bales and we would fill this thing to the rafters. And I think, Nathan, do you remember how many bales we'd put in here? 700?
No, it was up to, it was over 1,000. Because we'd start stacking above the rafters too when it got too much.
I remember 700, he remembers 1,000, but all I do remember, it was 1,000 degrees. Okay, not quite 1,000, 100. But if it was under 104, we'd take the day off. But we'd go out to the hay fields, and Dad would dump them up into the grain trucks. We'd stack them there. We'd back that into this door right over here. and then hand load them all the way up to the rafters. So we lost a lot of weight here. We kept pretty fit through the summer and didn't have to do a whole lot of lifting weights for high school sports, because that's all we did was work, and it was like weightlifting every day. So, all right, that's this. One thing I should mention is on this back side here where there was a door, this here area, and then a little bit over onto that wall there was where we kept the cows and cows that were calving and having problems. We'd bring them into the barn here and you know, let them calve out here before we kicked them back outside. So as you can tell from my Devil's tractor, the 666, this is the tractor all of my brothers and my sister grew up on, was a 656 gas. I'm not sure how many hours that tractor has on it, but I alone know I probably put 1,000 hours on that. So that thing would get hooked up to the grinder to grind feed for the hogs and the cattle. It also get hooked onto the manure spreader. So for everything you ground, got processed through the animals, and then you had to load it back up and out to the fields you'd go. So I'm not sure how many hours are on that thing, but it is a pile. This here is the Bobcat that they run today. We started out, I think it was a 428B, so it would fit into the hog barns. The bucket on it probably didn't hold any more than a 5-gallon bucket. So, all right, here's number 2 of the group. Pat, say hi.
Hello.
Number 2 of the group, his daughter as well. And so all of the stories I just shared, he was a part of each one of those as well. So it's just how I remember them. It's kind of a bird's eye view of the farm in 1980. So you can kind of, as I kind of shared, here's where the cattle were. This would have been the old hog barn. The new hog barn hadn't been built yet. You can see the finisher back there. You can see where we dry lotted and gestated all the sows. This here would be where we fed out all the cows. Lots changed in 42 years. This is when it first got homesteaded, back before cars and that whole piece. So you can see the old house that's still there. Pretty crazy. I'm not sure when this picture was taken. So this picture, I'm not sure what date it is. So this here's the new hog barn, the old hog barn that I walked through. The new shed, kind of see where we dry lotted the cows. So a little bit more recent picture. All right, that date is 1988. All right, I just found an article from 25 years ago for the Q125. So this farm, oh, it would have been 100 years. So yeah, we're 125 right now. So this farm was purchased,
It's November 9th.
November 8th.
I think it's 8th or 9th.
Was purchased by Henry in November 8th, 1897 for $3,000. Interesting enough, corn back then was $2.40 and soybeans was $6.70 at that point in time. So Henry would have been my grandpa's dad that started this piece of dirt, and 125 years later, here we are. Well, this is my dad. Say hi, Dad.
Hey, Dad.
Grandpa WoodSTR. So all the hard work that you see us doing out in the wood yard every day, he's the guy that taught us. And so some of this same stuff that I try and share some of the words of wisdom that he shared over the years, but he said hard work never killed you. And so far, he is correct. All right, this is John. Say hi, John.
Hi, John.
His boy John? John is number 3 in the group. So you'll see him running around here as well today. I think I only have a couple more to capture. All right, here we go. All right. This is the guy who's making today possible. My brother Brian, he's number 4. Say hi.
Hello.
He's also the guy that helped put on the loader tractor, or the loader.
I did it.
Yeah, okay, check that. This is the guy that put it on the Devil's tractor, working well, and I haven't bent it all to pieces, and if I did, I'd never tell him because he will kick my butt. So, anything you want to say about the day, Brian?
I hope it goes well. It's been 3 years in the making, and then in about 12 hours, it's going to be all done.
All over. Him and his wife and kiddos. Mom and Dad have put a ton of time into this event, like you said, over 3 years, and so we're expecting everybody that shows up that we invited to be 800.
Who knows? 300 for the meal for sure, and then yeah, if everybody comes, which I know they won't, but yeah, it could be a bunch of people, a pile of people.
It'll be a pile of people, and I'll try and throughout the night throw some pictures out there or take a little bit of video so we can get it captured. So all of the stories I told down in the hog sheds and the hay barn, he was right there with me just a couple years later.
Other than burning the barn down.
We won't talk about who did that. There's a reason I got into selling firewood and not selling fires, because I wasn't very good at it when I was really young. So we won't talk about that. All right, here we go. We are getting going here. We've got the Nebraska game on, and the folks are starting to show up. So throughout the rest of the evening, I'll bounce in and out with you guys and keep you informed. All right, here we go. Lunchtime. Well, we expected about 300 for dinner and lunch, supper, whatever you guys call it out there, but I think we've managed that, so the party has begun. All right, folks, we're going to close out. The party is rolling. Lego party for the kiddos, and yeah. So, Q125 for the family farm. Friends, families, neighbors, this is what we do. Thanks for coming along with us. You know the program. Like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on the flip side.